And welcome back, football fans. It's been a little over a week since the last time we saw you, but we are back with Monday Night Football, another Monday Night Football doubleheader for you here. This is week 2 already of the Backyard Online Football League. Our first game of the night will be a backyard, so a lower division matchup between the Steelers and the Chiefs. And that'll be followed by a front yard, the higher division matchup between the Bills and the Melonheads. Two, what I'm sure will be highly entertaining games for you, as it seems like they always are. We had some really great close games last week. We expect the same this week, especially because this week there's going to be some new elements that the coaches will have to keep in mind and be mindful of, because as we mentioned last week, and I'll remind you again for anyone who's not familiar with how online a football league works, every week there are a few players that you are not allowed to pick. There is a banned player list that rotates from week to week, so you can't use the same players every single week, and every single team plays on the same field in the same weather conditions every single week. So last week, week 1, nice and easy. It was a sunny day on everyone's favorite Phillips Field. But this week, we've got rain in the forecast, which changes things a little bit more than usual. And I want to welcome, speaking of rain, I want to welcome my broadcast partner for this Monday Night Football Game 1, Stay Safe. And you, probably more than anyone, knows how much rain can affect the outcome of a football game and how it really changes things for the coaches tonight. So what can you expect as we get ready for game 1 here with rain in the forecast?
Well, hey Ben, thank you for having me. First of all, yeah, it was a, I guess that was the last time we were broadcasting. It was my game in the rain, or was that? No, that was a sunny game. Was it for last week? I believe.
Yeah, it was nice and sunny last week. No
Oh
rain. It
yeah.
was a nice fast field, sunny conditions.
So in between those two, I did play my week 2 game against a former champion of the league in Loba, and that one was a back and forth, difficult game. It came down to the very last field goal at the last second. There's a lot of things that change in the rain. You're more likely to see fumbles. You see the ball not travel as well through the air on passes, and it'll muddy up the field conditions. I guess make everybody go a little bit slower when running. So I think both of these coaches, they're both experienced coaches. Mike Madness, having played multiple seasons before, I believe a playoff team last year, as well as Y2K9, who this is not his first go around. He played in a consolation, or was that one of the postseason tournaments following last year, making his debut prior to this new season 5. Both of these teams are experienced. They'll have a strategy ready to go to deal with the rain, and we'll see how it plays out. You can see their lineups that they've chosen on the left and right, and make some maybe speculation based on that into how they'll play it. But I'm seeing a couple of well chosen lineups here. Jerry Rice leading the Chiefs and Keisha Phillips leading the Steelers.
Absolutely. So I know, as I just mentioned, on top of the rotating weather that everyone has to take into account, as I mentioned, there's that rotating band list, which can change things dramatically depending on who is available and who is not. And I believe, I'm trying to find it on the sheet, but I can't find it right now, but I believe everyone's favorite, Pablo Sanchez, was one of the banned players this week, as well as Pete Wheeler, I believe. So two, Pete Wheeler super fast, and Pablo obviously one of the GOATs of the Backyard franchise. Both of those players not available to coaches this week. So does that change any game plan, or do you get kind of good replacement players back in the pool that were banned week 1?
Well, it should change things a little bit. You'll see most games will have one of either Pablo or Pete, if not both. And there's a couple other band players like Steve Young, who is in a lot of games, a popular pick. Kimmy Eckman, a very popular pick as a line player. Um, but I think these coaches have adjusted a little bit. You see Jerry Rice and Keisha Phillips, the picks. Neither of them going with Barry Sanders as their first tier player. Him being the other choice of the 5 players in tier 1. Barry Sanders, the most likely player of that grouping to fumble in this game. So Jerry Rice and Keisha Phillips, the safer picks, I think, in the rain.
always got to keep that in mind when you have the rain in the forecast. And I don't know if you saw the game last night. We had a Sunday night football game that was not on Twitch. It was in the Discord. So if you weren't in the Discord, then you didn't get exclusive access to that game. But we saw Jerry Rice do Jerry Rice things in last night's game. I believe it was who was it? It was Will F. the God, the Super Duper All Stars, and
That was Uno on the other side. Is that correct?
Yes, Uno, the Detroit Lions, and Jerry Rice. I mean, I think Uno scored 3 touchdowns on 3 plays, all just throwing it to Jerry Rice and going 70 or 80 yards down the field. So he can be a real game changer, it seems.
Yeah, well, Uno as well is a name to watch going forward in the Front Yard League. Already 2-0, I believe, and finished last season extremely strong. So that's a story to keep your eye on. But Jerry Rice, yeah, step below Pete or Pablo in terms of speed, a step below Barry Sanders as well in terms of speed. But just the catching ability as well as the physicality that he has. It's hard to get pushed around. It's hard to get body blocked on routes. And a great catch radius. So he's a great weapon on the offense, great defender as a corner on defense. We'll see how he's utilized here as it looks like ready to get kicked off.
I think we are ready to get this game underway in this rainy condition. Angela Del Vecchio, one of the most popular kicking picks, kicks it away. This one's going to bounce and settle in the end zone. We'll see if Vicky Kawaguchi decides to take it out. She does. She's trying to gain the edge, getting chased down.
Oh, it's dangerous.
Ahmed tackled, and that is dangerous. Now they're going to start deep in their own territory on their own 9-yard line.
Yeah, we'll have to see, as looks like Mike Madness double-checking something in his lineup, how much these coaches allow themselves to get tackled in the field of play and risk fumbling versus running out of bounds. That time risking to try to get a return, but ended up being tackled in the field of play. No fumble that time, but that's something to keep an eye on every time.
And speaking of fumbles, we're going to see a run play right up the gut. First offensive play of the game, only a modest gain of 2 yards. That sets up 2nd down and 18 on their own 11-yard line now. So maybe another risky play to start things off with a run just straight up the gut.
Maybe Mike Madness does. Maybe Mike Madness does like to establish the run when he plays. That's something has been a part of his offenses as he goes. But he does it to set up passes. You see a deep shot here. Dante.
It is caught for a 1st down, just barely catching it and getting across the line. That sets up a fresh set of downs on their own 32-yard line. 38 seconds left in the 1st quarter, moving right to left.
And that worked well for him. He didn't quite hit Vicky in stride as Vicky had a step, but having two players in the area versus one on the defense gives you a good chance, as we see another run play up the middle for Dante.
There's that run game that you talked about. Boy, I feel like I'm watching the real-life Tampa Bay Buccaneers. They are known for Todd Bowles, head coach, just known for running it on 1st down almost every time. And I feel like I got deja vu here as Tony Del Vecchio under center, steps back, no pressure. Although Keisha Phillips is kind of caught up with Jocinda Smith as that pass is well above the heads of any Chief, and it falls harmlessly.
Looked like Mike was indexed on trying to get the ball to Vicky that time. Vicky got blocked up at the line of scrimmage, but he was looking to them down that left sideline. Nobody else ended up being open later in the progressions.
Here's a big 3rd down play, 3rd and 17, tackled as he throws, and it's caught by Vicky Kawaguchi. She's in a foot race with Sally Dobbs to the 20, to the 10. I don't think Sally's going to catch her. That is a Chiefs touchdown, Vicky Kawaguchi.
Right there. Again, had 2 players in the area who could catch the ball. Put it up there. It was just the last second. Pressure was about to get there. He got it at the very last second. But a great pass, needed to get something off there, and it worked as well as he could have hoped there on the first possession. 6-0. I'm worried about this.
Good first possession there. You think he's going to go for 2? You think he's going to kick? Is it harder to kick in the rain?
It is harder to kick in the rain. You'll see more missed field goals in the rain. I think we may be frozen, so we might have a second to discuss this strategy, as these players will have to get reconnected, unfortunately.
That is the joys of a almost 30-year-old video game. You do have
Of course.
some crashes and resets. It seems like almost won a game.
Yeah, it's unfortunate, and I know there's people right now working on looking into the game files, looking into the code, and maybe something will come from that in terms of mitigating these a little bit, reducing the amount of games that have to be reset. But in any case, this one looks like it'll be a easy enough one to get a reset on. First quarter, they'll be able to just get a touchdown at about this point in the clock and go from there without even having to, you know, think too hard about the score as it goes. So we'll see how quickly they can get this set back up for us as we see a Discord screen there. Yeah.
So it was a drive that took a little over 45 seconds, capped off by a Vicky Kawaguchi touchdown. We're awaiting an extra point or 2-point conversion. We'll have to see which one the coach chooses to go with. And it will take a couple of minutes for, you got to call, you got to pick your teams, do all that fun jazz, and then they'll probably wind down the clock a little bit and then score a touchdown, which, as you mentioned, thankfully it is an easy enough reset, only 45 seconds into the game.
Yeah, and we won't have to add scores together to keep track of who's leading at any given time. So some things to be thankful about the time that it disconnected. But as we're talking about, yeah, it does affect kicking in the rain as well. We saw, and this was something that came up last week in my game against Loba. It came down to a field goal, and the usually reliable Dmitry Petrovic could not make it from around 40 yards, and that was the end of the game. So we'll see about both of these teams. I know we have Angela is a very strong kicker on one side. I'm not certain who Mike Madness has as his kicker. We haven't seen that selection unless it went back by quickly on the lineup setup screen. But when we get going, I think that may be one of the first things that we see. Who's the kicker on that roster, and how much do they play for a field goal? We can see that in the strategy of how they plan out their drives, whether they're setting up for a field goal or taking more risks at the end of halves to try to get in the end zone.
Yes, and I see a comment in the chat, when is it basketball season? I wish we had an online basketball league, but that is not something that we have been able to figure out here.
Now that one would be a bit tougher, I think. It would be a bit tougher. I think that would be a bit tougher. I don't believe any of the original games of basketball had an online mode, did they? I know I remember playing a lot of the ones. There were a couple of them that had Kevin Garnett in them. I think the one with Paul Pierce on the cover is the one that I played growing up for backyard basketball, but I don't remember seeing any online mode or anything like that.
I think that was the same one that I played, and you know what, I gotta be honest, I never played the online mode as a kid. I only ever did, season mode and some of the different.
Yeah, same.
So
I was a bit too young as a kid at the time that the servers were up to be running the online games. It was more the late 2000s when I was, or mid to late 2000s when I was playing all these. So the online servers were done by that point. But yeah, basketball, I played a good amount of those games. I remember the basketball game. I recreated that game. It had Paul Pierce, Ray Allen, and Kevin Garnett on it in the game in a 3-person lineup. So I did at one point play a season recreating that Celtics team that won the finals back in the mid to late 2000s. That was a good time.
Of course. I mean, how could you forget the Kevin Garnett, Paul Pierce, and Ray Allen team up? That was quite the team before they all went their separate ways again.
Quite the big three.
As a Nets fan, don't remind me of that.
As we got Mike chiming in. Oh boy. Oh, listen, I as a Timberwolves fan, it pained me watching Kevin Garnett, Kevin Garnett, one of the many Timberwolves who have gone and won a championship somewhere else, as we're We may see that again here with Karl Anthony Towns up 2-0 in the finals. Happy for him, but wish it was with us.
Yeah, that may go down as one of the more lopsided trades. We'll have to see how Julius Randle pans out, but I don't think it's gonna work out in the.
It's tough. DiVincenzo was real good for us when he was before his injury, and that really made the trade work until obviously the Achilles injury this postseason. It was really deflating for the team. But yeah, happy for Cat. Happy for Cat.
Yeah, I would like to see the Timberwolves eventually get one. I mean, I've always loved Minnesota. Good place to hang out. Good place to be. I've always loved.
It's a good place to be.
Back to the original colorways.
Oh yeah, the throwback black uniforms this year have been a lot of fun, and I saw the new ones they just announced or had leaked, maybe I guess it was, new uniforms that look like they're paying homage to those trees again, the tree design, and that's always a lot of fun. That was a good one. Kevin Garnett era. Now I wonder if we can get an update or get a stream started of the football if we're reconnected. I know they are working on it.
Here we go.
Are we getting there?
Say that. Right as you say that. Well, they've already drafted teams and reset the touchdown.
Oh, excellent. Let's get this back on the screen then.
Perfect. And it looks like, to answer your question of who is kicking on this roster, Amir is kicking for the Chiefs.
Oh, and I guess they have agreed to start this a little bit early. They just scored a touchdown at 40 seconds remaining in the first quarter. And Amir Khan kicks the extra point. We didn't see that one on the stream. But that's all we missed as we are back for Akeisha Phillips' kick return. And the game is on.
All right, and we are back with a little bit of extra football added on to about 15 seconds of free extra football here to be Steelers' first offensive possession, down 7, 29 seconds now, moving left to right on your screens. Randall Cunningham under center. Maria Luna out wide. The pass is going to go into a
picked off.
It's not going to be a Steeler. Intercepted.
Wow, Tony Del Vecchio. Usually Andy Frazier is the one who comes down with those catches in traffic. But this time Tony is in better placement. The pass didn't lead Annie into space. Tony comes down with it, and it's a big opportunity for the Chiefs to go up 2 scores early.
Big opportunity and it's a fumble, but out of bounds. And it'll go
and you can get
incomplete pass.
You can get away with it. I think that was a catch and fumble. It just went out at the line of scrimmage, and yeah, it looks like that's something that you can do. Is if you run closer to the sideline, you have a little bit more opportunity to a little bit more leeway. A lot of those fumbles will just bounce out of bounds harmlessly, so you don't risk as much.
And following a fumble out of bounds for no gain, it's another run up the middle, this time for only 1 yard, so setting up 3rd down and 19, just over the 50-yard line on the 46.
Uh-oh.
So maybe thinking 4-down territory and hopefully not another crash.
I believe that is another crash. That can happen sometimes when there's an education moment, I suppose, for anyone playing this game. If you're hitting the flip button, changing plays, or doing something on the menu, as after choosing a play, that can sometimes lead to these crashes. I think if it's the same frame, 2 things happen at once, and that can make the game break, unfortunately. So that's a bummer, though. It's gonna take a little bit to reset this.
I think this is the first time I've seen a double crash, at least this early. I've never really seen one this soon into the game. So we'll have to get another reset. But again, it should be a relatively simple reset. Well, actually, I guess it'll be up to the coaches. I think the easiest thing would be for them to keep the score at 7-0, but not replicate the score, and just give the Chiefs the ball, waste some clock, maybe reset 3rd down, and just go from there. I know some people like to reset the score as best they can, but given the fact that the Chiefs would have to score, Steelers would have to get the ball, give the ball back, probably easier to just give the Chiefs the ball, waste some time, and set things back up for a third down on approximately the 47-yard line.
Yep. Well, it's. I don't think it'll be too difficult to get things started if they're willing to make an agreement like they did last time, perhaps to not worry so much about exact measurements on the clock and setting things up. That could speed things along too. But we'll see what the coaches end up deciding between the two of them.
Absolutely, and it's not the end of the world for the Steelers here. You don't want an interception on your second offensive play of the game, but they did defer and they do get the ball to start the second half. So if they're able to hold the Chiefs or maybe force a field goal attempt, even if they're down multiple scores, they're at the end of almost the end of the first quarter. So they certainly are able to score right before halftime or take, some time off the clock, score with not a lot of time left in the half, and then get the ball back to start the second half. So can definitely still come back from this interception.
It's true, and it's a key moment for the defense. It's been a good start on this drive for the defense from K9, who has been pretty solid throughout the whole game. The one long play, there was pretty decent coverage even on the long touchdown that ended up going to Vicky. So a lot of reason to still be positive from the Steelers side. K9, coming in with appeared to have a defensive plan and can probably just stick to it and focus on the offense to try to make adjustments. It looks as if the players are the K9 and Mike are back drafting players again. So we will put that back on your screen.
And that is, I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe as they were talking about, maybe trying to work on some patches and stabilize the crashes and move off of Scum VM and over to a different emulator. I saw they also were talking about how they were testing the ability to play with generics and play with, set rosters so you don't have to do a draft before each of the games.
Yeah, that's something that was discussed, and I think there's things within the game that make it a little bit harder to put that together for football than for baseball, but there's some good ideas being thrown around by some people who have, good history with knowing how the code of the games work. Jibbo to Hibbo is of course, a legend in the backyard sports community and has put together a lot of tools that have been instrumental in new ways to enjoy these games over the last years. So when he's posting excitedly about what could possibly happen to make improvements to football, that's exciting for everybody. I would love to see generics in this game in online mode. That would be a lot of fun. Get Star Moonbeam up in here, get Stuart Sullivan, all the players that we saw in our season games that we've played on just suddenly wondering what those players' stats are. They look like they're faster and better catching and all of that than anybody available to play with in the season. So that'll be a lot of fun.
Absolutely, that would be. I think Star Moonbeam is one of the first names that people were throwing around when they were toying with that idea and they were talking about it last week. As that is, if you don't know who Star Moonbeam is for some reason, she is essentially a shorter Pete Wheeler. She is incredibly fast.
She's got Pete Wheeler speed, and judging from what she did to my season teams when I was growing up playing this game, Jerry Rice type receiver ability. So that's really exciting if you get a player like that on a backyard football team.
Absolutely, and it looks
Speaking of Jerry Rice,
I don't see. The problem is I don't know if this is a true play or
Yeah,
if
what have they
they're
decided?
resetting something.
It didn't look like the defense was giving up on that one. That looked like it was just a perfect throw to against the coverage and a touchdown. But I guess maybe there might be some info if we check our sources as to what they're deciding here.
Yeah, I'm gonna try to double check here real quick with one of the coaches if that was a reset or if this is a live game and
Yeah,
we're just
we
gonna...
agreed. And we agreed to keep the score 7-0 and pick up from there.
All right, that's what it looked like to me as well. So 14-0.
So 14-0 and some more time back on the clock as the kickoff is taken just over the 30-yard line to the 32-yard line. So now it's 14-0 Chiefs, but Steelers with the ball. They'll get the ball to start the second half. 23 seconds left. They're getting clock back at least. Silver lining of giving up that touchdown after the reset. So still plenty of time, plenty of football left as it is 14-0, not 7-0.
Plenty of time left, but this is a very important drive, I think. It's going to be very important, just with the time left on the clock as well, I think, because even if you score a touchdown here, it's dangerous to be potentially giving Mike Madness and the Chiefs the last time with the ball before halftime to reassert that 2-score lead.
It does feel like you need to get points out of this drive. You can't come away empty-handed, especially down multiple scores already. Although I really hope not. But do we have a third crash already?
We may be having some issues right here. We may be, and that can be a sign that if there's that many in a row, that it's one of the players' internet having issues, and there's not much can be done at that point.
I'm gonna check
No,
live
we
one.
may...
See what's going on.
Yeah, we are crashed, I believe.
Yep,
believe
we
so.
are crashed.
Well, I guess we'll have to hear from the players whether they're planning on continuing this game at this point or delaying it. I guess it's not a rain delay. We were playing through the rain, but some sort of...
Yeah, can't call it a weather
Lightning
delay. Yeah, maybe a lightning delay, yeah.
Yeah, I suppose.
Well, the good thing about game number 2 in this doubleheader is that it's on tape delay. The game has already been played, and the game was pre-recorded. So at least in game number 2, we won't have to worry about crashes, and even if there is, we can just skip ahead and get right back to the action. So
That is true. I can confirm that there was no crash in the pre-recorded game, which is ironic. We would have preferred the crashes happen in that one and we'd be able to edit around it. But no crashes in that one. That one is a full on through, no breaks. And we'll be able to put that one up here. It's another benefit to doing these as double headers. If we have connection issues or lightning delays or what have you, we'll still have football to show you on this beautiful Monday night.
yes, but the only bad part about that is that tape delay game is your game against Ferb Fletcher, and so I'll be having to make that call solo, which I don't mind.
That is true.
I always enjoy the insight of the reigning champ of the Front Yard League in this Backyard Online Football League.
Oh, well, thank you. Yeah, it would be a bit weird to commentate my own game. I don't want to maybe give too many things away about my strategy and my thoughts at every given moment, so I'll leave that in your capable hands. But we'll wait for a final call, I guess, between K9 and Mike Manis in this Week 2 game. And if that's not going to get back going with the connection issues that we've had, it might be gone to the second game of the doubleheader, which is the Week 3 matchup, played on sand in the sun rather than in the rain on grass. So a whole different set of challenges due to field conditions. Week 3 game versus it was between myself and Ferb Fletcher, the one of the one of the fine people running this league, and an experienced player who's been in, I believe, 3 or 4 seasons at this point, and very talented player. I believe we saw him on maybe it was a Sunday night football game, Monday night football game a few weeks back. But
I can't remember if it was Sunday or Monday, but we definitely saw a Ferb Fletcher appearance on the stream already. Always entertaining games when they load up, and it seems like the coaches are still working it out.
working things out. That is the update that we have been given at this point. So we will give it a little bit more time to see if this can get reconnected. Maybe troubleshooting the issues that could be slowing down internet from either of those players, and from there we'll see. But yeah, this is I believe we haven't had 2 weeks of the same weather yet, and we won't for a while of same weather and field conditions. Switching back between these rain. There's dirt. There's going to be a snow game coming up in the relatively near future in the next 2 weeks, I believe, or maybe that's later in the season. But it adds a lot of variety to this league, and we'll see how that affects everything.
Which seems to be a hot button topic among some of the players about that variety. Some are obviously, and you can understand, the downsides of playing in some weather and some varying field conditions. It slows down the play. It can make it harder to kick or pass. But I will say, I'll throw my 2 cents in. I think from a viewer perspective, I think it's always interesting to see those wrinkles, whether that's weather or field condition. And I think you got to be able to do it every day of the week and twice on Sunday. You got to be able to do it no matter what you're given.
That's true, and I'll come.
I've been kind of
Oh,
up
excuse.
for round robin field conditions.
There's a couple different arguments on this, I would say. There's people who like the variety, and then there's I think I may fall a little bit on the other side as things go, and that's all right. Of this argument, where I feel that most games being on the grass in the sun is best for the competitive nature of the league. You're gonna see in rain games that makes things take longer, and with the length of the game being so short, that can lead the strategy to be more about holding on to the ball and scoring and waiting out the clock before you score, which is not exciting to watch. It's not exciting to play, and you also see a lot more RNG elements take impact the shape of the game with fumbles that are more common. So with that also impacting a shortened game, that's something that's going to cause some consternation sometimes when it just feels a little bit too luck driven. But I do like that there is some variety, and maybe there's a happy medium that can happen, or even some changes in upcoming patches that could ameliorate that to some extent. Increasing the length of the quarters to 90 seconds or 2 minutes has been brought up for one thing that would balance out the slowness and the RNG, or at least make them have less of an impact. So there's been a lot of those discussions recently, and it's always interesting to hear all the sides of it that everybody's bringing forth.
Absolutely. Always trying to make the league better, always trying to make it more fun, more enjoyable, while keeping the competitive integrity. And speaking of competitive integrity, it seems like we're going to fourth time's the charm. That's the saying. It's always been the saying. 4th time is the charm. Looks like we're going to try to get this game going back again. The coaches have just finished their player draft, and now they've got to, again, reset their playbooks. But at this point, it's probably going to be pretty quick muscle memory, considering this is the 4th time in the last 20 or so minutes that they've had to do this. So it will be 14-0. Chiefs over the Steelers right now. Again, most likely, it seems like, based on the previous resets, we will not try to play down to the exact time. We'll get, again, some time back in this game.
Yeah, we'll have to see what they decide to do in terms of that.
Yeah,
It
my
seems like they've already.
strategy is I can score and then he can throw a pick to me. That's what we decided.
Okay, so we'll get a little bit of something that'll take up some time at least. So not having maybe it would end up being close to a 6 quarter game by the end of it if we add up the time from those first resets. We'll see a touchdown. We'll see a kickoff, and we'll be off and running with real football as soon as the Steelers get the ball back.
So here's our first reset play, and it's a sack by Keisha Phillips.
Yeah, those runs up the middle are hard to make it work when the defense is trying to allow a score. There's just a lot of defenders that the AI is controlling, and not enough that the defense can actually get out of the way. So we'll see what these coaches can do to get this touchdown that we've been promised. And I guess we may be just wasting some time along with that, which is all right as well to get us back to the point where we would be in terms of timing.
Yeah, I believe we should be. I mean, collectively, we are probably at the start of the second quarter, but we were only a few plays in on the second reset. As here's a pass, and that's going to be caught by Vicky Kawaguchi. So this should do it. This should be our touchdown. That will get us back to essentially where we were.
Mm-hmm. That'll work. And it'll be back. Steelers, really, the Chiefs have held the ball for the majority of this time, even through the resets. It'll be the second possession, I believe, for K9 in this game when we get back. Is that correct?
It will be the second true possession. Their first possession was an interception, and then their second possession after one of the resets was only a play or two long before there was another crash. So this will be their second true, knock on wood, their second true possession. And so after this kickoff, well, I guess this kickoff is officially back because you can run it back if you want. So we are back. It is 14-0 Chiefs after several resets as Tony Del Vecchio, one of the two Italian stallions in this game, makes the tackle. And so Chiefs have the ball, Steelers have the ball. 1st and 20 on their own 34-yard line. 19 seconds left to go in this first quarter. Several resets into the game, and
oh boy,
another interception.
That looked like a mistake. That looked like a mistake throw. I don't know that was intentional. You don't throw it that quickly to that area of the field on purpose, I don't think. And that's got to sting if you just now got the ball back after having to wait this long, and a mistake like that makes you wait even longer.
Yeah, this is the mental aspect of online video games, especially competitive online video games.
Certainly,
Just
that's
like in real life.
We'll see if Mike can take advantage of this and strike again and make it a 3-score lead right here. That would be hard to come back from at that point. So we're looking for Vicky Kawaguchi again.
Yes, they are, and she catches the ball immediately, tackled by Annie Frazier. So a touchdown-saving tackle there, and it's a long gain on second down. So now it's 3rd and 4.
That pass was just a little bit late. On the Steelers 29, yeah, the pass was a little bit late. That could have been another touchdown, but didn't quite catch her in stride, and Annie couldn't quite get there for the interception, but did make the immediate tackle, as we see a nice play there, getting Dante right beyond the sticks and a pass right in that window. First down, Chiefs.
So it's a fresh set of downs, 2 seconds left in the quarter. This will be the last play of the first quarter. 1st and 20 on their own 20, and that was really good pass protection there. The Steelers were sending 2, but both looked like they were getting jammed at the line, allowing the Chiefs quarterback to have enough time to get that pass off and pick up the first down.
Yeah, it looks like we've got another crash, and it looks like it was due to the play being changed after it was selected, and that's I don't know that we're going to get this game to be finished at this rate, unfortunately.
No, I don't think we will.
Yep. At this point, Yep. Sometimes it'll right itself after a little bit of this here in the quarterback cadence with the play selection screen still up. But at this point, I think we can declare it that this game has crashed for a fourth time, and we'll have to maybe postpone this game due to the lightning, if that is the reason that we come up with.
I think we'll unofficially call it a lightning delay in this one. That is not the norm. Definitely not the norm to have this many crashes in
Yeah,
a
and
single.
that's unfortunate.
Crash. What?
That is unfortunate.
That is
At this
very,
point, I guess
fortunate.
it's most likely time to switch to the second game for the stream, though, in order to
I think
keep ourselves running on a schedule.
absolutely, and maybe the coaches will try it a fifth time. Maybe off stream. Maybe that'll help with some of the connection issues. We wish them the best with that, because that is extremely frustrating when you're trying to play a fun game of football, and to have that happen so many times.
Well, at least we can promise no crashes in this second game, it being the pre-recorded one.
Exactly. Yeah, I think that probably is best. We appreciate you trying. We really, really appreciate you trying four times.
Thank you
Especially.
to Mike. Thank you to K9 for agreeing to come and play their game on stream. And yeah, it's too bad that it didn't work out this time. I'm sure we will have chances to see them again later in the season. Both experienced players who have postseason hopes within that backyard league. But yes, I guess we're gonna get set up here for game 2 of the doubleheader. I will sign off for now and get the video stream set up for you to provide commentary. Yeah, appreciate you bringing me on.
Absolutely. I wish we could have actually had a game to call together, but I'm sure we'll connect again very soon, as this is just the start of week 2, and there's many more games to come, many more weeks left in the season. But until we do connect, and I wish you the best of luck. I know you know the outcome of this game, but I don't know the outcome. I wish you the best of luck. I'm sure this was an entertaining, close game against a good coach.
Hey, thank you. I appreciate it. I'll sign off then for now. Thank you.
Absolutely. And so we will be back very, very soon. Only a couple of minutes, because as we just said, this game is on tape delay. It was played last night. Both coaches very graciously agreed to record their game and not post the results. So the only people who know the results of this game are the coaches themselves. But they have been very, very gracious and kept that result under lock and key. No hints have been given. I don't even know what's about to happen. So this is going to be, as I mentioned, a very entertaining game. This is a front yard league action. Front yard league is the higher, slightly more competitive, I guess you could say, just by nature of the more experienced coaches play in the upper division. Think of it as if it were soccer, the other football. Soccer has a upper tier and a lower tier. Think of it as the upper tier of backyard online football. The coach, as you just heard, calling the first game, or trying to call the first game, is the reigning champ, the Melonheads. They are defending their Cereal Bowl title against a former champion in Ferb Fletcher and his patented Buffalo Bills. He always plays as the Buffalo Bills. So this is going to be a super, super entertaining game, I'm sure, and a game that will probably have playoff implications, you would think, down the line. So this is an early game in the season that is going to have a lot riding on it. And as we mentioned, this is an early week 3 game. Both these coaches agreed to play their week 3 game early, and we're going to have slightly different conditions. If you missed that earlier, and I don't blame you for forgetting it, considering we had so many crashes in between. It's going to be a sunny day, so the rain is cleared, thankfully, and we're going to be on the sandy football field, which will slow things down just a little bit. Some new band players are excuse me, there are some new banned players that are not allowed, and some previously banned players are back in the rotation. So again, just some of the wrinkles of the Backyard Online Football League. And we're going to take just a quick break, and I'll be right back with game 2 of the Monday Night Football doubleheader, Melonheads versus Bills, coming up right after this. And welcome back. We have a game number 2, and this one, we are not going to have any crashes. As I mentioned before, if you're just now joining us, this is a tape delay game. This game was played last night. Both coaches agreed to tape the game and send it to the Backyard Sports Center. They are the only people who know the outcome of this game. They did not share the results with anyone, including myself. So we're all watching this as if it was live, and thankfully that means even if there was a crash, we would just be able to skip and edit right through it. And what a time for a raid. Mr. Retroactive raiding with a party of 5. My goodness, welcome in. Perfect timing because we have game number 2 of this Monday Night Football doubleheader just about to start. So you guys are in for a treat here as we have 2 very high-level coaches, as I mentioned. The Melonheads, as you can see the roster there on the left side of your screen, led by Pete Wheeler. He is back. He was banned for week 2. He is allowed for week 3. The Melonheads, the reigning champ, is going against Ferb Fletcher and his patented Buffalo Bills, a former champion led by the GOAT, Pablo Sanchez, as well as Steve Young. We're in for a really, really entertaining game as the coaches are getting their strategy set, their offensive and defensive and special team plays. And we are ready to get this thing underway and kick off game number 2 of Monday Night Football here at Sandy Flats. A very polarizing field. You love it or you hate it. As the kick is away and it bounces back into the field of play, but it had bounced out of play off the screen. So a touchback is called. And it'll be 1st and 20 from the 20 for the Melonheads, moving right to left on your screen. Pete Wheeler at quarterback. Split formation. Ahmed and Dimitri up at the top of your screen. Looks like he's aiming that way. The throw is to Dimitri, but he got jammed up a little bit coming off of the line. The throw is a little bit too ahead of Dimitri Petrovic, not able to catch up to that one. So an incomplete pass on the first play of the game, and now we have a bunch formation with who looks like Dante Robinson down there at the bottom of your screen solo. Pete Wheeler looks like he's going to run this one all the way, but it's a fumble by Jocinda Smith, forced by Jocinda Smith, picked up by Kimmy Ekman, and the Bills. Big turnover there to start the game. They've got the ball 1st and goal at the 15-yard line, 15 seconds in. What a defensive play by Jocinda Smith to knock it out, and then Kimmy Ekman to recover that football. As now Pablo Sanchez stands at quarterback. He's getting chased by Pete Wheeler. Pete Wheeler forces a fumble. He picks it up, and now he's off to the races. Pablo Sanchez is chasing him down. I don't think he's going to catch Pete Wheeler to the 40, to the 30, to the 20, to the 10, 5, touchdown Melonheads. Pete Wheeler immediately makes up for his own fumble by forcing a fumble himself and taking it back 85 yards. Boy, oh boy, what a start that is. I gotta catch my breath here after that one. My goodness, Pete Wheeler, fastest kid in the game. As this is going to be a 2-point conversion now. Kimmy Ekman putting pressure on Pete Wheeler, throws it to a wide open Ahmed Khan, and the 2-point conversion is good. So 8-0 Melonheads, already 2 fumbles in this game. And now Dimitri Petrovic is set to kick this one away. Back to receive it is Pablo Sanchez, and that one looks like it's going to bounce through the back of the end zone. And so it will be another touchback. And yes, if you just remind him, he when he plays baseball, he does say, I'm going to score a touchdown. And he's in the right game to do that this time. He did, in fact, score a touchdown as Pablo Sanchez throws it across the field to a diving Steve Young, who gets up and gets a few yards before being tackled out of bounds. A gain of 7 on 1st down. Not a bad gain there. So that sets up 2nd down and 13 because you have to gain 20 yards in backyard football to get a 1st down. Pablo Sanchez trips formation to the right, ranging down to his left, being chased by Pete Wheeler, and it's another sack for the fastest kid in the game. 14-yard loss on 2nd down. It's now a long 3rd and 27 on their own 12-yard line. 15 seconds left in the 1st quarter. As they always say, big third down here. Box formation. Pablo Sanchez again getting chased by Pete Wheeler. Throws it back across. Intercepted. Ahmed Khan. This Melonheads defense is causing all kinds of trouble for the Bills. And they again have the ball in enemy territory. First and down on the 25-yard line of the Bills. Split formation, Dmitry Petrovic. The throw is back to Ahmed Khan at the bottom of your screen. He is getting tackled by Docinda Smith, who forces another fumble. Again recovered by Kimmy Ekman. Oh my goodness. A frustrating game for the coaches, but an entertaining game to start. Multiple turnovers here. And so the Bills, with new life, their defense is doing their job, but they need the offense to do something, as this was going to be a double pass. But again, Pete Wheeler wreaking havoc off of the line. Sack Steve Young behind the line. Loss of 5, 2nd and 25 now. As we're into the second quarter. Trips formation at the bottom of your screen. Pablo Sanchez again getting pressured by Pete Wheeler. The Buffalo Bills just do not have an answer as the pass is caught by Steve Young, immediately tackled. It's another loss. And at this point, surely the net offensive yards for the Bills are in the negatives. And the Bills still no answer for Pete Wheeler getting off the line. So it's now a long third down on their own 5-yard line. And again, Pete Wheeler, no one is covering him, and he almost forces the safety, but tackles Pablo Sanchez on the 4-yard line. So 4th and 33. And we will see a punt, a rare punt. You don't see a lot of punts in the online league, but in this case, 4th and 33 on your own 4-yard line. You're kind of forced to do so, as Ricky Johnson was holding on to that ball, and it looked like maybe it was not intentional, but I think it was a smart play there, as it's going to be touched first by Stephanie Morgan. So a good punt, all things considered, especially when you got Pete Wheeler back there. So it'll be 1st and 20 on the 42-yard line of the Bills. So good field position here for the Melonheads. I formation, Pete Wheeler takes the snap, is ranging out to his right, being chased. Good block there by Mikey Thomas, but Steve Young, right as Pete Wheeler was trying to get by that block, able to come off of it and make the tackle. So a gain of 6, 2nd and 14 now on the 36-yard line, 24 seconds left. Punch formation with Dante Robinson, ISO at the bottom of your screen, again ranging out as Pete Wheeler, getting chased by Pablo, throws for Dante, caught and immediately tackled, but a first down for Dante Robinson and the Melonheads. 1st and goal, 17 seconds left. Split formation, again Dante, ISO at the bottom of your screen. Pete takes the snap. It's a run all the way. Chasing him is Kimmy Ekman, tackles him from behind. A touchdown saving tackle from Kimmy Ekman. 2nd and goal on the 1-yard line, 13 seconds left. Will they score, or will they try to waste a little bit more time and then go for a 3rd down? They throw back across their body to a wide open Ahmed Khan. Pete Wheeler did waste a little bit of time running to the top of your screen and then throws it back to a wide open Ahmed Khan. Touchdown, Melonheads. It's now 14-0 pending what looks like another 2-point conversion with only 8 seconds left in the quarter. Again, split formation with Dante, ISO at the bottom. Pete Wheeler, chased by Kimmy Ekman, throws it back towards the middle of the field for Ahmed Khan, but this time the pass a little bit too long, so the 2-point conversion no good. It'll remain 14-0 Melonheads with 8 seconds left, so we'll have to see if the Bills are able to get a play off. As the kick is away, it's already down to 3 seconds, but it's through the back of the end zone, so as we see a timeout called by the Bills. And maybe thinking this through, 3 seconds, only time for one play, and you're on your own 20-yard line. So we'll have to see what the thought process is here. I believe the Bills are getting the ball to start the second half. There's been so many turnovers, I can't remember who got the ball first to start the game. But if I'm remembering correctly, the Bills should get the ball to start the second half. As trips formation at the bottom of your screen, Steve Young gets the pass again, immediately chased by Pete Wheeler. Is going to throw it, and is that caught? It is Jocinda Smith. Dante Robinson is guarding the end zone, and tackled from behind by Ahmed Khan is Jocinda Smith. So a good play, but nothing showing for it, as that was the last play of the half. And so at halftime, it's 14-0 Melonheads. And as you can see, 13 total yards for the Bills, most of that from that last play there at the end of the half. So they would have had negative offensive yards if not for that final play. And the Melonheads, they only have 43 yards of offense themselves. But they lead 14-0, and in fact, it is going to be Bills' ball. Although, again, that kick is through the back of the end zone. And so starting at their own 20-yard line will be the Bills, needing a score here. Their defense hasn't played terribly. They've forced multiple turnovers, and they've been put in bad spots where they've had to defend with a short field in front of them. So if the offense can pick it up and do something, then you still have a chance. As again, Pete Wheeler immediately putting pressure on Pablo Sanchez. Steve Young catches it, immediately tackled for just a gain of 1. And still the Bills have no answer for the fastest kid in the game here. Pete Wheeler coming off the line. Kimmy Ekman again not able to pick up Pete Wheeler. She picks up Steve Young, or excuse me, she picks up, I believe that's John Elway. That allows Pete Wheeler to run by, and a modest gain caught by Steve Young. So it'll be 3rd down and 12 on their own 28-yard line, moving right to left. 46 seconds left in the third quarter. 14-0 Melonheads. And still a solo Kimmy Ekman on the line, not choosing to bunch up and try to block. And will Pablo get the pass off? Well, he throws it out of bounds backwards. So 4th and 12. Avoids the sack and the possible fumble. So a high IQ play, but if Pablo would have got that pass off, they might have had a chance. They had a couple of streaking wide receivers at the top of the screen. So 4th and 12 on their own 28-yard line. They are not going to punt. As I mentioned, punting is pretty rare, really in that one case. And the pass is away, but with pressure by who else but Pete Wheeler, it falls incomplete. A turnover on downs, and Pete Wheeler, the MVP of this game. Trips formation now on their opposing 28-yard line. Pete Wheeler takes the snap, waiting at the line of scrimmage, decides to run after all, tackled out of bounds after a gain of 9, so 2nd and 11. Into the red zone, right on the 20-yard line of the Bills. And if the Melonheads score here, this game might be put out of reach. 3 scores with no answer for Pete Wheeler on offense, as that is a catch by Dante Robinson, and it is touchdown Melonheads. Dante Robinson. And there's still time left in this game, but that may be a dagger to the Bills, who have just not been able to get anything going on offense. Pete Wheeler has just wreaked havoc. As the 2-point, this is going to be another 2-point conversion attempt. Their last one failed. Their first one was good. And Pete Wheeler is going to throw back across the middle of the field for Ahmed Khan, one of his favorite wide receivers today. The 2-point conversion is good. And with 28 seconds left in the third quarter, this one is all Melonheads. You can see why they're the defending champs, 22-0. And if you're the Bills, boy, oh boy, you really needed to score your last possession, but this one, it feels like if you don't score, then the game is surely over, as Pablo had to take that one back as it did not go out of bounds to the back of the end zone. And he takes it back, a decent return to the 27-yard line. So 1st and 20 for the Bills. Still not putting multiple linemen. Kimmy Ekman immediately bowled over Steve Young. A good juke, getting chased down by who else? Pete Wheeler. tackled from behind, an 11-yard gain, but you need bigger chunk plays than that. You haven't had a play more than about 15 yards or so, other than that one play at the end of the half where the Melonheads were playing some prevent defense. So you can't take these small chunks. You've got to find a big play, as it's a backwards pass for Steve Young, and he looked like maybe he wanted a second pass attempt for, I believe that was Jocinda Smith, but good coverage, and he's just going to tuck it and run himself for a gain of 6. Again, another modest gain, but that's not what you need. Time is not your friend. 7 seconds left in the third quarter, as now we see a bunch formation, but that doesn't matter. The bunch formation can't stop Pete Wheeler. Sacked Pablo Sanchez. 4th and 8 now. Another 4th down for the Bills. And I've lost track of how many sacks and pressures Pete Wheeler has now in this game. It feels like every snap of the football, he is in the backfield in a second or two. As again, there's Pete Wheeler pressuring Pablo Sanchez, thrown back across, and apparently it was a catch and a fumble. I thought it was an incomplete pass. Ahmed Khan picks it up, gets a block from Dimitri, and returns it. And it's going to be 1st and goal on the Bills' 20-yard line as we start the fourth quarter, 1 minute left. And it looks like the reigning champs are going to remain undefeated and move to 3-0. And Ferb Fletcher and the Bills will drop to 1-2. Not quite the start you'd expect from the experienced coach of the Bills, as that's a gain of 12 yards there on 1st down. So 2nd and goal on the 8-yard line. Bunch formation again, Dante Robinson. ISO at the top of your screen now. Pete Wheeler again roams, throws back across his body for a wide open Ahmed Khan. How many times have I said that today? Touchdown, Melonheads. Rock on, Ahmed Khan, and they are just pouring it on now. And you can understand why. Run differential, this is not backyard baseball, but point differential is one of, I think it's the main tiebreaker in the standings. So even though you've got a comfortable lead and you will comfortably win this game, you want to try to score as many points as possible. As you can see, another 2-point conversion. No extra points here. And Pete Wheeler's going to tuck and run this in himself. 2-point conversion is good. It is now 30-0 Melonheads over the Bills. 51 seconds left in this one. We'll see if the Bills can salvage something and save their own point differential, because a -30 and a 1-2 record would not be the ideal start 3 weeks into the season. And there's only 9 weeks in this football season. You only play 9 games. So not as much time as the backyard baseball season, but also a in-game season to come back from a 1-2 start and a -30 point differential loss, as again, Pete Wheeler. Surely that's double-digit sacks. I wish I was writing these down or something, but another sack, a loss. Well, I guess it doesn't go down as a sack because Pablo was able to get back to the line of scrimmage, but almost a sack by Pete Wheeler. And again, just having to get it out quickly behind the line of scrimmage, caught by Steve Young. He gains 3 yards, so 3rd and 17 on their own 30-yard line. 30 seconds left in this game. Bills want to at least score, cut that point differential down. Trips formation, bottom of your screen. Here comes Pete Wheeler, and a very quick pass, caught by Jocinda Smith. She evades one tackle, but is not able to evade the refrigerator in Dimitri Petrovich. And it's going to be another 4th down, 4th and 10 on their own 36-yard line. And if you don't get this, oh, the Melonheads might score again. As here comes Pete Wheeler, Pablo Sanchez not able to get the ball away. Batted away by Pete Wheeler. I don't know if that was his hands or his head, but Pete Wheeler. I think just Pete Wheeler by himself could have won this game the way he's playing, as there's 22 seconds left now. And again, they're taking over in Buffalo Bills territory. Pete Wheeler just holding on to the ball, wasting time, wasting clock. This may end up being the last play of the game, and they may not even try to score. They may just show some good sportsmanship and run out the clock, and that will be the game. As time has expired, Pete Wheeler is running down the sideline, tackled by Pablo Sanchez, and that is your ball game. A dominant performance from the reigning champs, Say Stafe and the Melonheads. They cruise to a victory, 30-0. They are your winners over Ferb Flesher and the Buffalo Bills. Just an absolute dominant performance by Pete Wheeler and the Melonheads. And if you're the Bills, you're behind the 8 ball now in terms of your playoff positioning, with still some tough matchups on your schedule left. But that is going to do it for Monday Night Football here on the Backyard Sports Center. We will be back soon with another football stream, hopefully some Thursday night football, but if not, we'll try to get some Sunday night football next week as we finish up week 2 in the rain and head into more week 3 games at Sandy Flats. So make sure to come back and join us for that. In the meantime, for Say Stafe, who was trying to call game 1 before there was 4 crashes, this is Ben Bath and Beyond signing off on the Backyard Sports Center. We'll see you soon, football fans.